Okay, so there's this dog that I got a call about that was at Antlers Inn. It was underneath the shed. And it was a friend of mine that called me about it. And then some of the people in the city saw a dog too that had been crossing back and forth.
Was it a black lab?
Yeah.
I saw that dog. I tried to rescue that dog.
Really? In January?
Yes.
This dog had been spotted many times, but nobody, and people were concerned about it, but nobody could ever catch it. So I came out here it was freezing, and we had all that rain, it was cold, and I saw the dog. I was about to give up looking for the dog because I didn't see a dog. And I stopped in here at the Antlers Inn and I asked the man behind the counter, which was your father-in-law, he was visiting from India, and his English wasn't very good, but he said to me, it's a very sweet dog, and I've been feeding it buttered bread. Yeah, and he asked me, why do people treat their dogs this way? I don't understand. She's very sweet. So he led me out here. He said, I think it's outside. And so he led me to that shed there. All right, let's see. Amelie, where's Amelie? Amelie, she's under my desk. Come here, Amelie. So all of this was cold, freezing cold, and rainy, and muddy, and I had no proper boots on, so it was really cold and wet. And she was way underneath there, way underneath, and I couldn't get her out. I couldn't coax her. And if I crawled under there, and she ran the other way. So then I managed to grab her. And then I thought I had her, and she just disappeared into the brush back here. There you go, Amelie. Amelie eats by herself over by the furnace.
Why is that?
Just, it's a separate little area for her. And now the loud mouse. So then I was worried, of course, that the lead that I grabbed her with was going to catch onto the brush and strangle her or kill her, so I would be responsible for her death, basically, because I tried to catch her and failed. See how sweet she got? She's one of my favorite. Yuri's trying to chew his way through that back door.
The reason I saw her was that she was dragging a deer carcass off the road.
Oh.
And she would not, because she had that deer. As I got close to her, she would back off and growl, but she never let go of that carcass. I knew she was starving to death.
It wasn't until Dawn finally was able to, we came out here together. She calls it her snatch and grab. She just snatched her. Just grabbed her, and I opened my car door, and it took the two of us to just get that dog, because she was just going crazy. She didn't want to be caught. Once we got to my house, I had to put a kennel together. So Dawn had to hold on to her in the freezing cold for an hour in the rain before we got the kennel put together. I never expected this. She was in there for a couple hours until nightfall, and then in the morning she was gone. She climbed out of a 6-foot kennel to go back to the exact same spot to wait for her owner to return, even though she'd been beaten. Talk about loyalty. I mean, she'd been beaten, and she was starving, and she was terrified, and all she would do was stand there and shake. So finally, I went back there, and she knew it was me, and this time, she came up to me, I grabbed her, so we did the same thing about 5 times. I put her back in her kennel, she'd crawl out, I go back to the hotel. And then the last time, I just opened my car door, and she was used to the routine, and she just jumped right in. This dog would, anytime you even held anything in your hand, like a dog chew or a biscuit or anything at all, she would just duck and cringe and start shaking as if you were gonna beat her. And she had a big gash in her head. She was so terrified that she wouldn't pee, she wouldn't poop, she wouldn't eat. She just sat there and shook for the whole first month. I had to physically take her out of her kennel and put her in the front of the yard so she would poop or pee, and she would just sit there pulling at her cable to try to get away as if I was gonna, beat her or something. And then she would just sit there in the drizzling rain. And then finally one day, she finally figured I was okay. And this is after the same routine, all day long, of her acting like I'm gonna kill her. And finally one day she figured I was okay, and she didn't, she let me touch her. This dog took a long time, and I really thought this dog and these two took more out of me than, I mean, I know I keep saying that over and over, like every dog takes more out of me, but in different ways. These three tested my sanity. Amelie will get adopted immediately because she's got such a sweet disposition. There's my phone. Katie's here. It's just she's going to be hard for me to let go. I'm going to have a hard time letting her go. How to say